Now that the Suns are officially out of the playoffs, there are now rumblings about Durant being frustrated with the organization. This is something that came out from Shams. I'm going to read this excerpt. It says Kevin Durant never felt comfortable with his role in Phoenix offense alongside Devin Booker and Bradley Beal this season. Those sources said Durant had persistent issues with the offense, feeling that he was being relegated to the corner far too often and not having the proper designs to play to his strengths as the offense was built around pick and rolls. This could be true. This could be true, but I don't think it's really the offense that Durant has to worry about. Durant is a very efficient player. He's always going to be a great scorer. To me, it wasn't the offense that's the issue with the Phoenix Suns. I think it goes deeper than that, and it has to do with Durant, but it's not on the offensive end. It's really on the defensive end. The biggest thing that stood out to me in this series with the Timberwolves was that Durant is not meant to be a power forward. I know he's tall. To me, he looks somewhere between like 6'9" and 3/4 of an inch to 6'10" in that range. And you would think that's good enough to be a power forward. That's a good height to play that position, but I don't think he was ever meant to be really a power forward. It's why he played most of his career as a small forward. That was like his biggest advantage, that he was taller than threes that were guarding him and whatnot, and very few could match up with him. And that's still true today, that very few guys can match up with Durant. But I would say the biggest issue really is that he can't defend anymore. Really, he's not a good defender. He used to be able to guard threes. He was quick enough to stay in front of them. That's why they could get away with playing him at the three spot. But now he's older, he's slower, so he has to play the four spot, the power forward, to make up for his decrease in mobility. And the problem with that is that he can't really guard legit fours, guys who are legit bigs playing that position. He can only play that position if the other team's playing a small ball style of basketball. This was exploited in the series with the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns is actually a center playing out of position, but he was way too big for Kevin Durant to guard. He could muscle Durant in the post, and he did at will anytime he wanted to score. And it also hurt the Suns on the rebounds, that Durant could not secure rebounds from Cat or Gobert. They got a lot of offensive rebounds and second chance points because he didn't have the strength to compete with them underneath the basket to get boards. Sounds like a little thing, but it's really a big thing if you're trying to win a championship. You're going to have to win that battle, and I don't think Durant will ever be able to win that battle, especially at his old age now. Just it's a dilemma because you can't have a legit defensive team with Durant, and you still need defense to win championships. I still think that proves true even in this current era. He can't defend the power forward because he's too small physically. Granted, he has the height, but physically he's not built to guard big men. That's not what he can do. And the problem is he's not quick enough to guard the three. So how do you mask that if you're the Suns on the defensive end? Like, how do you mask it? I don't know how they can do it, to be honest. I think that's going to be a challenge going forward with them. Um, and I don't think Durant can admit that to himself because great players have huge egos. They can't admit any flaws in their game, especially when they're getting older. It's equivalent to a beautiful woman who's past the age of 30, who's in denial of her looks fading. Just I think that's the same with great players. They can't admit when they're on the decline. So I think Durant is in denial of this, and he's going to start pointing fingers at others for his flaws and his shortcomings. You're going to see that in the upcoming years. He's still playing, but I feel this is the biggest issue going forward is that you're going to have to find a way to mask his defensive flaws. I think the only way you can do it is that you need to have a great rim protector next to him. I'm not sure if Nurkic is that guy. I don't think he is a great rim protector. You're going to need a strong rim protector next to him. You're going to need a great defensive three next to him to be able to mask that. Just you need at least two of those guys to be superb at those positions. And the Suns just don't have that. I don't know who has that going forward that he could play with because I have a feeling he'll try to force a trade to get out of Phoenix. But I think that's really the ideal setup for him. If he wants to have any success, he's going to need to have a center who's a great defensive player and a small forward who's a great defensive player. So that way they can cover up his flaws. So I think that's the biggest thing that the Suns have to do. I mean, not the Suns, but whoever wants to play with Durant, you got to get him a great defensive small forward and a center to cover up his flaws. So that's all I have to say about this subject.